So I know it's been a while, but I bought about one, two, three, four, five, six. I bought 6 books recently. I'm about to do a little bit of a book haul. I don't really have a script. I'm probably just going to read off the back of these books and go from there. And I just want to get straight to the point. So first off, we got The House of Sky, Landscapes of a Western Mind by Ivan Doig. From what I know about Ivan, he just writes a lot of Westerns. I think some of them take place in Montana. Here's what the back says. This haunting, magnificently written book introduced an important American writer. Ivan Doig grew up in the rugged, elemental Montana wilderness with his father, Charlie, and his grandmother, Bessie Ringer. His life was formed among the sheep herders and characters of small town saloons and valley ranches as he wandered beside his restless father. What Doig deciphers from his past with piercing clarity is not only a raw sense of the land and how it shapes us, but also of the ties to our mothers and fathers, to those who loved us, and our inextricable connection to those who shaped our values in search for intimacy, independence, love, and family. This powerfully told story is at once especially American and quietly universal in its ability to awaken a longing for an explicable past. It's published by Harcourt-based Jovanovich Publishers. It is 311 pages long. Cool little cover. It's a memoir. There you go. Next up, I got Graham Greene's The Quiet American. I saw this on a Randy Ray video. I don't really remember what he said. I don't know much about it. There's an M1 Garand right there. And this is a Penguin Classic. I've always preferred the Penguin Classics instead of black and orange, but the ones that are like this weird, I don't know, is it like teal color? I'm not sure. Let me read the back. It says, The Quiet American is a terrifying portrait of innocence at large. While the French army in Indochina is grappling with the Viet Minh, back at Saigon, a young and high-minded American begins to channel economic aid to a third force. Fowler, a seasoned foreign correspondent, observes, I never knew a man who had better motives for all the trouble he caused. As young Pyle's policies blunder on into bloodshed, the older man finds it impossible to stand aside as an observer. But Fowler's motives for intervening are suspect, both to the police and to himself, for Pyle has robbed him of his Vietnamese mistress. And then to quote Harper, there has been no novel of any political scope about Vietnam since Greene wrote The Quiet American. Oh, so I was wrong. This is not World War II, if that's what I said. Yeah, my apologies on that. But yeah, no, it's a thin little volume, only about like 190 pages, published in, let me see, 1955, I believe, copyright 1955, nice. There you go. The lighting's probably pretty awful in here, by the way. It's all right, though. Next, this was kind of just like a filler book. It was like I had a thrift books order, and I was like, you know what? I have this weird rule. I think it's inspired by the rule of thirds, or I like to buy things in group of threes. So I got the Sophocles, the Oedipus cycle, which is Oedipus Rex, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone. I read Oedipus Rex in a community college class I took recently. I mean, like a year or two ago. And Antigone I read back in high school, and I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember anything about it. I'll read the back, even though you probably know what this is about. The ancient myth of Oedipus, which still reverberates to this day, provided Sophocles with material for 3 great tragedies, Oedipus Rex, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone, that together recount the downfall of Oedipus, king of Thebes, I don't even know, his death in exile, and the action carried out after his death by his daughter Antigone. That's pretty much it. It says the translation's been provided by Dudley Fitz and Robert Fitzgerald. Published by Mariner. I don't read a lot of like old like tragedies a lot. I'm trying to do better about that, just because I feel like there's a lot of it that I don't know how to say it, but it's almost like that weird Shakespeare effect where when you read a lot of his plays, you're like, oh, in my modern life, now I understand all these things, or I understand why the trope came around, or oh, like the hero's journey, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Next up, I got Masuji Ibuse. I hope I'm saying that right. Black Rain. This is a book I've seen. I had like a weird stint where I had just read a bunch of Japanese authors, like Junichiro Tanizaki, Haruki Murakami, Ryu Murakami, Yukio Mishima, Banana Yoshimoto, I believe is her name. Trying to remember some more. I feel bad. Who did Snow Country? I don't remember. There's Yasunori Kawabata. I don't know who did that. I don't know. But yeah, this is like one of those Kodansha Japanese modern writer, which is a paperback with a dust cover, which is kind of cool because, I mean, look, like, it's just, I kind of like how mysterious that is. It's just Black Rain and a black cover. I don't know much about this book. I tend to go in blind. So I purposefully sometimes don't know anything about a book. I've bought books before thinking they're fiction, and then it's like a nonfiction or a historical fiction, and then I'm surprised. Black Rain is centered around a story of a young woman who was caught in the radioactive black rain that fell after the bombing of Hiroshima. Ibuse bases his tale on real-life diaries and interviews with victims of the Holocaust. The result is a book that is free from sentimentality yet manages to reveal the magnitude of the human suffering caused by the atom bomb. The life of Yasuko, on whom the black rain fell, is changed forever by periodic bouts of radiation sickness and the suspicion that her future children, too, may be affected. Ibuse tempers the horror of this subject with the gentle humor for which he is famous. His sensitivity to the complex web of emotions in a traditional community torn asunder by the historical event has made Black Rain one of the most acclaimed treatments of the Hiroshima story. Yeah. I got this off of Thrift Books, which, I don't know. I kind of was like, I hope these Japanese classic books, I don't know where they come from. I hope it ended up being in pretty good shape. Next up, I got a work of nonfiction, In Control of Nature by John McPhee. I actually checked out John McPhee's Rising from the Plains from the library, and I really enjoyed it. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I'm trying to fix that because I feel like I need to be more smarter. But yeah, and I also remember watching, I think it was Steve Donahue, who had Annals of the Former World, which I think is his 4 or 5 books put together into like a big volume, like super thick. This one I don't know much about, In Control of Nature. It was published after Rising of the Plains, and the title of this book is taken from Rising of the Plains. It's a quote. I'm going to see if it's in here. Yeah, the quote is, "Strive on. The control of nature is won, not given." Let me see. I'm going to read a little bit of the sleeve. It says, "In the natural cycles of the Mississippi's deltaic plain, the time had come for the Mississippi to change course, to shift its mouth more than 100 miles and go down the Atchafalaya, one of its distributary branches. The United States cannot afford that, for New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and all the industries that lie between would be cut off from river commerce with the rest of the nation." Yeah. The quote, the whole quote, the "Strive on, the control of nature" quote, comes from those words were etched in limestone at the University of Wyoming. Fun fact. And this book, I bought this at a used bookstore. This has whoever John Dixon is, and I don't know if that's from 1989. I don't know if this is focusing. I hope it is. I hope you're doing all right, man. That's been a while since 1989. So, and then last, another one of those Kodansha Japanese modern writer classics is Ryu Murakami, Coin Locker Babies. I've actually wanted to get this book for a long time, and I found it pretty cheap on thrift books. Now, it's not in the best shape, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care the shape of my books. I actually sometimes will seek out more worn books than pristine books when I'm at like used bookshop secondhand, because it tells a story, or it makes you wonder about the story of who held the book before you. This one's a little less intimate because it wasn't at a bookstore. It was from a big online secondhand retailer, basically. But it's like one of those things again where it's a paperback with a dust cover. First time I've ever seen it. This is kind of falling apart. I might just take the dust cover off and just kind of keep it somewhere. But yeah, let me read the back. Oh, there really isn't a back. Let me see. Yeah, a surreal coming-of-age tale that establishes Ryu Murakami as one of the most inventive young writers in the world today. Abandoned at birth in adjacent train station lockers, which are real things, which was like, I found that out a couple years ago, and I was like, damn. Two troubled boys spend their youth in an orphanage and with foster parents on a semi-deserted island before finally setting off for the city to find and destroy the women who first rejected them. Both are drawn to an area of freaks and hustlers called Toxatown. One becomes a bisexual rock singer, star of this exotic demimonde, while the other, a pole vaulter, seeks his revenge in the company of his girlfriend, Anemone, a model who has converted her condominium into a tropical swamp for her pet crocodile. And yes, this is supposed to be a kind of out there book. I was on a Reddit thread where someone DNF'd it, and I was like, just be weird. Together and apart, their journey from a hot metal box to a stunning savage climax is a brutal funhouse ride through the eerie landscape of late 20th century Japan. I'm going to get part of this trivia wrong. I'm going to miss the details, but I do know Coin Locker Babies was a very big influence on Silent Hill 4 The Room. I don't remember if it's the whole game entirely or the whole like just being weird, but yeah. Little trivia. That's the only book I have trivia about. Because I'm a video gamer. Well, used to. I don't really play as much. But I'm going to keep it succinct. That's about it, really. It's just a small little book haul, and I'll come back. Sorry it's been a while, and I'll come back when there's more.